Picture this. It's lunchtime on day 2 of your cruise. You walk into the buffet, and it's packed. Families are juggling trays, kids are pointing at the dessert station, and an announcement about the evening's entertainment plays softly in the background. The aroma is irresistible. Fresh bread, sizzling stir-fry, and roasted meats. You grab a plate, but before you know it, you're committing one of the biggest buffet sins without even realizing it. You're reaching out for the food with your hands. Maybe it's just a bread roll. You think, no big deal, it's only me touching it. But here's what most passengers don't realize. Those rolls are touched by hundreds of people every day. One bare hand can spread germs faster than you'd ever imagine. I've spoken with former crew members who said this is one of the things they hate seeing the most. They won't say it directly to your face, but behind the buffet line, they're whispering, "Here we go again." That's why utensils are there. Tongs, spoons, ladles. It doesn't matter how small the item is, always use them. Not only are you protecting yourself, you're protecting everyone else on board. Another mistake, and this one is sneakier, comes from trying to outsmart the system. I've seen passengers take food from the buffet and then try to stash it in bags, purses, or even containers they brought from home. They figure, why not? I paid for it, so I'll save it for later. But this is one of the quickest ways to get flagged by crew. Food safety rules are strict on cruise ships, and for good reason. Once food leaves the controlled environment of the buffet, it's at risk for spoilage and contamination. If you keep it in your cabin too long, you could even attract pests. Most passengers don't think about that part. They just see free food. But I've heard stories from stewards about finding hidden sandwiches or fruit rotting in drawers, wrapped up in napkins or plastic bags. Not only is it gross, but it's also a health risk for the entire ship. If you're hungry later, order room service or visit one of the snack spots that stay open late. It's included, and it won't risk turning your cabin into a science experiment. Now, let's talk about the dessert station. It's the most photographed part of the buffet. The colorful cakes, the puddings, the little parfait cups lined up in neat rows. It's so tempting to grab 5 or 6 of them at once. After all, they're small, right? But here's the mistake: going all in too fast. Many passengers don't realize that buffets often rotate their dessert options daily. What you see on day 1 might not be there tomorrow. So, piling your plate high with every single option isn't just overwhelming, it's unnecessary. A smart cruiser samples a couple, enjoys them, and then comes back another day for the rest. I once heard a story of a woman who, on her first cruise, loaded 10 desserts onto a tray, just to try them all. By the time she sat down, half were melting, the other half were crushed, and she didn't even finish 3 of them. She later laughed about it, but admitted she wished she'd slowed down. That's the key with buffet desserts. They're not going anywhere. Then there's the issue of line cutting. It might sound obvious, but you'd be amazed how often it happens. Someone spots the shrimp cocktail halfway down the line, decides they can't wait, and slips in between passengers as if no one will notice. But people do notice. In fact, the buffet line is one of the few places on a cruise where tensions can get a little heated. I've heard from crew that arguments break out here more than anywhere else besides deck chair hogging. What experienced cruisers know is that patience pays off. Not only is it more polite, but food is constantly being replenished. That shrimp you thought you'd miss? Don't worry, it's coming back. The buffet isn't a race, it's a steady flow. Port day buffets bring a whole new set of mistakes. Passengers return from shore excursions starving after hours of walking, swimming, or exploring. They head straight to the buffet in their sandy clothes, sweaty, sometimes even dripping from the beach. This creates hygiene issues and leaves messes on chairs and floors. But the bigger mistake is assuming the buffet is the only option when you get back on board. Many cruise lines open up poolside grills or specialty snack bars at those times specifically to spread out the crowds. The passengers who know this head there instead, avoiding the madness. They get a quick, fresh bite without battling the hungry hordes in the buffet. Here's another overlooked one: ignoring crew signals. If you see a staff member closing down part of the buffet, they're doing it for a reason: sanitizing, refreshing the food, or rotating dishes. Yet some passengers sneak around the barrier, acting like they're above the rules. The crew might stay polite, but inside they're frustrated. It throws off the system they're trained to maintain. Following directions keeps things flowing smoothly, and it actually helps you get fresher food faster. And then there's coffee time at breakfast. This is a mistake I've made myself, and I learned quickly. Everyone heads for the self-serve coffee stations at once, especially in the morning rush. People crowd around, waiting, sometimes juggling multiple cups for their whole family. But there's a trick. Many ships have hidden or secondary drink stations, usually tucked away on the far side of the buffet, or even on a different deck. Experienced cruisers know this. While the crowd is fighting over the main station, they're calmly filling their mugs at the quieter one. It's one of those little cruise secrets that makes you feel like an insider. Finally, the mistake that ties everything together. Forgetting that the buffet is about more than just food. It's about the experience. The joy of a cruise buffet isn't just piling your plate sky high. It's exploring new flavors, enjoying time with your travel companions, and soaking in the unique atmosphere of dining while sailing across the ocean. Passengers who rush, waste, or stress about it miss the bigger picture. The buffet is meant to enhance your cruise, not exhaust you. When you avoid these mistakes, something shifts. Suddenly, the buffet feels less like a chaotic scramble and more like a highlight of your trip. You'll taste more, waste less, and move through it all with ease. And maybe most importantly, you'll earn the respect of the crew, who notice more than you think. Imagine this. It's the first morning of your cruise. The ship has been at sea overnight, and you wake up excited, ready for a big breakfast. You walk into the buffet, and the smell hits you. Crispy bacon, fresh pancakes, omelets sizzling on the grill. But here's where many passengers fall into mistake number one. They grab the first plate they see, then immediately start stacking it with everything in sight. Eggs, sausages, pastries, a mountain of fruit. By the time they reach the end of the line, their plate looks like it's about to collapse. Then they spot something they actually wanted even more. Maybe the Eggs Benedict or that waffle station. But now it's too late. Their plate is overflowing, and they're stuck with random items they don't really want. I once overheard a passenger laugh about this, saying, "I don't even like half the food I grabbed." The smarter way: walk the line first, see everything, then circle back with a plan. Not only will your plate look better, but you'll actually enjoy what you eat instead of pushing things aside. Now fast forward to lunchtime. You've been on deck enjoying the sun, maybe even swimming in the pool. And now you're hungry. You walk straight into the buffet without thinking about one key thing: your hands. This is mistake number 2. Cruise ships are known for their strict health protocols, and for good reason. Thousands of people in close quarters means germs can spread fast. That's why there are sinks and sanitizer stations right at the entrance. Yet, so many passengers walk right past them. They touch serving utensils, ladles, and even grab food with their hands. And that's all it takes for one person's carelessness to affect hundreds. I once spoke to a former buffet attendant who said, "We can refill trays all day, but we can't stop people from skipping the sanitizer." It sounds so simple, but taking those 10 seconds to wash up is the easiest way to keep your cruise healthy. Another mistake that happens over and over again is treating the buffet like it's a sprint. The second people see crab legs, shrimp cocktail, or a carving station, they act like it's their only chance. They rush, they cut, they pile plates high as if the food will vanish. But here's the truth. Cruise buffets restock constantly. That tray of shrimp isn't the last one. That roast beef isn't the only one. Yet, when people rush and grab too much, they create tension in the line and usually end up wasting half their food. I once saw a teenager with a plate so full of shrimp it was spilling over, and by the end of the meal, most of it went untouched. Not only is that wasteful, but it's one of the fastest ways to annoy both the crew and your fellow passengers. By day 3 or 4 of the cruise, another mistake sets in: overeating. At first, it feels like a dream come true. Unlimited food, anytime you want it. But soon, the heavy meals catch up. Passengers start feeling bloated, sluggish, and even a little miserable. I once heard someone at the buffet sigh, I feel like I need a vacation from this vacation. That's when experienced cruisers stand out. They balance their meals. Sure, they enjoy the pizza and burgers, but they also grab fresh salads, grilled veggies, or lighter proteins. That balance keeps them feeling good all week long, instead of dragging through the trip with food fatigue. And then comes dessert. Cruise buffets are famous for them. Cakes, pies, cookies, mousses, even ice cream stations with toppings galore. But here's the mistake: grabbing too many at once. The small sizes are tricky. They make you feel like you can try everything in one go. But if you take 5 or 6 at once, you won't truly enjoy any of them. Experienced cruisers pace themselves. They sample 1 or 2, then come back another day to try something different. The best part? Desserts often rotate, so you will always find new treats if you spread them out instead of piling them all up on day 1. Let's not forget the drink stations. This is where tempers flare. Morning coffee rush, juice lines at breakfast, iced tea at lunch. One of the biggest mistakes is crowding around and filling multiple cups for the whole family. Worse, some passengers try to fill large bottles directly from the machine. Crew members really dislike this because it can cause contamination, and it slows down the line for everyone else. The smarter trick is to fill a glass or 2, then pour it into your bottle at your table. And if you look carefully, you'll often find hidden drink stations away from the main traffic. While everyone else is in a 10-minute coffee line, insiders are grabbing theirs in under a minute at the quieter station. Another mistake that stands out is ignoring timing. Peak times turn the buffet into chaos, right after shore excursions, just before evening shows, or first thing in the morning when everyone's trying to eat at once. Lines stretch long, seats fill up, and frustration rises. Smart cruisers avoid this by adjusting slightly. Eat a little earlier or later. Explore alternative dining spots like the main dining room, which often serves breakfast and lunch with far less hassle. You'll not only avoid the stress, but you'll usually enjoy a calmer, better-paced meal. But maybe the biggest mistake of all: forgetting that behind every tray of food, every clean table, and every replenished drink station, there's a hardworking crew making it happen. They clear plates, sanitize surfaces, refill trays, and keep thousands of people fed all day long. Yet, some passengers treat them like they're invisible. They leave messes, they demand more food immediately, they ignore polite instructions. And while the crew keeps smiling, they notice everything. The passengers who smile back, who say thank you, who show even a little courtesy. Those are the ones who often get treated with extra care. It's not about tipping more or making a scene. It's about respect. That small gesture can make your cruise better in ways you might not even realize. So when you step into the buffet, remember this: it's more than just free food. It's a shared experience. It's part of the rhythm of cruise life. When you avoid the mistakes most passengers make, the buffet transforms from a stressful, crowded scramble into one of the highlights of your trip. You'll taste more, waste less, and actually enjoy each meal instead of rushing through it. By midweek, something interesting starts to happen in the buffet. Passengers who were once excited to try everything begin falling into patterns. They stop exploring and head straight for the safe foods: pizza, burgers, fries, maybe a sandwich from the deli counter. It feels comfortable, but it's a mistake that robs you of one of the best parts of cruising: variety. Cruise buffets are designed to showcase international dishes, local flavors from ports of call, and chef specials that change daily. I once met a passenger who admitted they ate pizza every single day of a 7-day cruise. On the last night, they found out the buffet had been serving regional dishes inspired by each stop. They missed out completely. Experienced cruisers know that the buffet is more than just comfort food. It's an adventure, a chance to try something new without risk. If you don't like it, you can always go back for something familiar. But if you never try, you'll never know what you've been missing. Another mistake that becomes obvious as the cruise goes on is treating the buffet like a personal dining room. Passengers push tables together, leave trays stacked high with food scraps, and even abandon plates halfway through the meal for crew to clean up. Multiply that by thousands of guests, and it's no wonder the staff is constantly working at top speed. The buffet only feels effortless because the crew makes it that way. A small act of courtesy, like putting your dishes in the designated area, wiping up spills, or simply not rearranging furniture without asking, makes the entire experience smoother for everyone. By day 5, something else becomes a problem. Dress code. Most cruise lines don't require formal wear in the buffet, but they do ask for basic respect. No swimsuits, no bare feet, and definitely no dripping wet clothes. Yet, it happens every single day. People walk straight from the pool, still dripping, grab food, and leave wet marks on chairs and floors. Not only is it unappealing, it's also unsafe. Crew members have to mop up constantly to avoid slips. A quick trip to your cabin to throw on a cover-up or dry clothes makes a huge difference, and it shows respect for the shared dining space. Let's not forget about buffet seating. Another mistake people make is claiming more space than they need. Families spread out at large tables meant for 8, even if there are only 3 of them. Solo travelers grab window seats and leave belongings on extra chairs. When the buffet is crowded, this creates frustration. Smart cruisers know to be flexible. They share tables, they move over to make room, and they stay aware of the flow. It's a small shift in mindset, but it creates a friendlier, less stressful dining environment for everyone. By the final days of the cruise, passengers start making one last mistake: rushing through meals. They're caught up in schedules, shows, excursions, packing, last-minute shopping. Meals become something to get done instead of something to savor. But here's the irony. The buffet isn't just about food, it's about slowing down, about enjoying the view of the ocean through the wide windows, about talking with your travel companions without the distractions of home. I've seen couples sit with their morning coffee and just watch the sea for an hour. I've also seen families who rush through every meal and later say the cruise went by too fast. The buffet gives you a chance to pause and take it all in. Don't make the mistake of letting it slip by unnoticed. And finally, the 15th mistake is forgetting gratitude. The buffet can feel like magic. The trays never seem to empty, the tables are always wiped, the dishes vanish when you're done. But behind that magic are crew members working exhausting hours, often far from home, just to make your vacation seamless. Too often, passengers overlook them, or worse, treat them with impatience. A simple thank you, a smile, or even just eye contact can mean more than you think. I once heard a steward say, "When someone thanks me, it makes my whole day feel worth it." That's how powerful those 2 little words can be. So, as your cruise wraps up, think back on the buffet. Think of all the small mistakes you avoided: piling your plate too high, cutting lines, wasting food, ignoring sanitation, crowding drink stations, sticking only to safe foods, and forgetting about the people who make it all possible. When you avoid these, something magical happens. The buffet stops being a chaotic scramble and becomes one of the highlights of your trip. You taste more, you waste less, you stress less, and you carry home memories that are about more than just the food. They're about the experience. The cruise buffet isn't just a place to eat. It's a reflection of the cruise itself. Its abundance, its choice, its community. Treat it with respect, and it will reward you with some of the best moments of your voyage. So, we've uncovered 15 cruise buffet mistakes, each one small on its own, but together they can completely change the way you experience your trip. Think about it. The difference between piling food you don't want and savoring the dishes you love. The difference between rushing in frustration and gliding through the line with ease. The difference between wasting food and appreciating every bite. In the end, the buffet isn't just about filling your plate. It's about how you approach it. Respect the crew, respect your fellow passengers, and respect the experience itself. And suddenly, the buffet feels like more than a meal. It becomes a memory. The laughter you share at the table, the view of the sea out the window, the little discoveries of a dish you never thought you'd try, those are the things you'll remember long after the cruise ends. So, on your next sailing, pause before you walk in. Wash your hands, take a breath, and remind yourself that this isn't a race. It's part of the journey. Explore, taste, enjoy. And above all, don't make the mistakes most passengers make without even realizing it. Because the truth is, the buffet is one of the great joys of cruising. Treat it right, and it will reward you every single day of your voyage. And here's the kicker. If you think these buffet mistakes are eye-opening, just wait until you hear about the secrets your cabin steward will never tell you. Those are the kinds of things that can make or break your cruise in ways you never expect. So, stick around, because the sea still has plenty of secrets to share.